Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance, and this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Bluebird. And this is a follow-up to No Contact is the Only Answer for Black Cinderella. And here is her story. Hello, Ollie. Thank you for the first video. It is helping me greatly on my journey to healing. By typing this all out, I am remembering things more, and I am starting to be able to look more objectively at my family history. This next chapter deals with my issues of self-esteem, shame, guilt, and self-loathing. I have been unpacking my history and this burden on my back for the last 2.5 years after hitting rock bottom in life. Hitting the bottom gave me nothing to lose. So why not actually look in the mirror? For years I refused to look deep in the mirror because I was afraid of facing my guilt and shame. But when I hit that low, almost contemplating suicide for a brief moment, I had no solutions or tricks up my sleeve to distract me or make me forget. So I started digging, working my way back over the years. I never wanted to look at my childhood. I rather look at the last month, 6 months, or even the last year. There I could find the root of my problems, but as I delved into how the relationships in my family fell apart, I could not understand why, even though I tried too hard to hold them all together. I had to keep looking back further, till I came to the point of brokenness, where the shame, guilt, and self-loathing started. I was a shy child as long as I could remember, the only girl, and the fifth in a line of kids. I am not sure if shyness was my nature or my parents pushed it into me. Years of my parents, especially my mother, trying to keep me quiet. I remember a time she told me women should be seen and not heard. Ironic coming from a woman who ran the household, screamed like a banshee when she would come home and the house was a mess. She would get angry after long days' work and go off screaming, "I work so hard, you kids can't keep the house clean." We would all be stunned, silent, and dare not utter a word as she railed. This was a common occurrence. Dare you talk back, it would be worse for you. If she beat you, you were to sit there and take it. You couldn't even raise a hand to defend yourself. In my head, if I raised a hand to defend myself from my mother's punches, then I was accused of raising a hand to her. If you dare raise your hand to fend off her swings or try to stop her from beating you, she would rage. You're fighting me? You're fighting your mother? Till one day you finally do fight back. The beatings would continue with more intensity. No black eyes, broken bones, or broken skin, just redness under your clothes, pain and fear. My father beat us too at times, but when my mother raged, he would not say a word. He would be off in the background and seemingly fade away. Maybe because at the time she was the breadwinner and she seemed to make the decisions. I remember a time she was raging at all us kids for something as usual. My now golden child brother, the third eldest, talked back. He raised his arms to defend himself. She raged that he was fighting her. She came down on him harder. He called her a bitch. Oh my. I was scared for my brother. He ran through the house as she chased him down. He eventually ran out of the house and she locked him out at night in the cold. It was resolved. I think he may have apologized, but still then, he has always been her lapdog. It still hurts to remember that moment because he did not deserve that treatment, but he became her golden child. Why? Because he showed her he had the ability to fight back. And she knew I better be nice to this one because one day he's going to be bigger than me. And I'm not going to be able to chase him down. Once she saw in your brother, he has the ability to fight back. He can ruin this whole thing because he will fight me back. That's what happened with my brother. My brother always fought back. Always. Always, from a little kid, defiant, always fought them back. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. I must warn those who may be triggered or hurt by sexual abuse. It hurts me to write it, but I have to. I have been hiding it for so long. This is painful to write and hard to acknowledge, but here it goes. When I was around 7 to 9 years old, the molestation happened. I remember porn magazines hidden in my brother's closet. I got into a lot of my brother's stuff. What is weird, I remember hearing a conversation about my father buying adult magazines for my brother in an effort to get my golden child brother, third eldest, to read more. So they buy him. He had a stammering problem and is not doing well in school. I never forgot that memory. I thought it was weird. I remember the molestation because it was around the time the movie Basic Instinct was released. Somehow it ended up in our home. It was on home video. Probably my older brothers got it from their friends. I know this because I watched it when no one was home. I can't remember if this was before or after I was molested by my second eldest brother's best friend. He must have been 13 or 14 years old. I was around 8. My brother knew it happened because he was there when his friend took me into the bathroom. I was not sure why he called me into the bathroom. I looked up to my brothers and their friends. I thought what he was doing to me was play. I don't know if my brother told my parents what happened, but I overheard my brother talking about it with their other friends. They seemed angry about it happening. No one talked to me about it. Further touching continued after this incident with my third, fourth, and fifth brothers in our rooms. One evening, my father caught the touching. I thought was playing with my younger brother. My father was so angry he beat me black and blue. He was so angry he grabbed both my ears, lifting me up from the ground, smacking and beating me more as I begged him to stop. I had never seen him so angry. I was shamed for this disgusting behavior after this happened. I did not tell him or anyone about what happened with my brother's friend or the other older brothers. Some days later, my mother's bitter friend Rhonda, imagine Monique's character in the movie Precious, came to our home. Rhonda manhandled, beat me while lifting me off the ground and raged in my face. If you ever touch him again. I kept quiet and took the beating. I was so ashamed. After this incident, I don't think my father looked at me the same again. My mother came back from a long trip to Nigeria. She was told about what happened. She asked me about what happened with my younger brother. I was shamed and guilted. I was around 8 years old. All these years hiding this secret, I finally asked myself why my parents never sat me down, talked with me over what happened, and sought help to get into what was going on with me. Looking back, I know why I was never confronted on by my parents. Because they knew. They knew it was your brothers. And in black culture and in Nigerian culture, males are everything, females are shit. That's why. That's why. My parents always made me feel shame and guilt. They were not safe to go to. They never were. My mother is an RN. It's not like she did not know what could cause a child to become sexualized all of a sudden. The guilt and shame of those events were so much I held them inside and dare not utter a word of it to anyone. The shame around this incident even caused me to allow other men in my life as a young teen to sexually assault me. I have been raped a few times by boyfriends in the past. Even though they did that to me, I felt shame and blamed myself for their violence towards me. The idea of being a known victim seemed worse than the act of rape. I always felt like I did not have a right to stand up for myself, my body, or my dignity. I just took it and quietly faded away. Over the years, my mother would ask me, "Were you molested?" God damn that cunt. Of course she knew it. She knew it over the years. She knew it at the time. She knew it. And unfortunately, your case is not even unique, especially not in the black community. daring me to say it. Whenever we argued over BS, illogical arguments, she would spit out randomly, "Were you molested?" Yeah, because she's looking. Do you know why? Because who's your golden child right now? Golden child's one of your brothers. She wants you to say it so she can gaslight you over it. Because she knows her sons are shit. That's why. The question was always asked with disgust and loathing in her voice. Of course it was. Suffice to say, I always denied it. I hated being a victim. Now I'm starting to think she always knew. That's why she kept asking. Of course. Of course, the narcissist always knows. They always know, and they always knew. Her method of asking was a way for her to shame me into silence and hurt me. She uses similar tactics when I catch her in her lies. She denies events that happened in the past. She lies about things she did, abuse that happened to me as a child and teen. She reverses the argument by saying, "So, are you calling me a liar? Are you calling your mother a liar?" Yes. Yeah, liar. I was like, I've never, ever had the right to say she was lying, even when she was. My fourth eldest brother, when we were children, never let me forget the incident and often called me a molester in front of everyone in our home. My parents said nothing when he did this. As a child, he reveled in my humiliation. I sat quiet and ashamed. Looking back now as an adult, he touched me as well. The difference was that no one found out. I don't blame him. We were kids, but he enjoyed putting me down a little too much as we grew to be adolescents. He may have thought I was a spoiled child and envied my only girl child status that enabled me to get more gifts and privilege. As adults, he would often tell me I had it better because I was the only girl and got a lot of stuff from my parents. Looking back at the abuse he received, he was trying to survive. We all were. We were a year apart. People often thought we were twins. Over the years, our relationship was stronger, or at least I thought it was, but it fell apart. And he would become the perpetrator of my almost demise. I think he may be a full-blown narc now, but that's another story for another day. Looking back at my brother's childhood, he has a sad story of abuse and neglect as well. Now we don't talk, and I want nothing to do with him. He went too far. My mother often triangulates us 6 siblings. I wonder if our falling out had anything to do with her. It had everything to do with her. And the falling out is about you. It's about protecting the secrets. I carried this shame from the molestation up until 2 years ago. I talked with my therapist about this incident. My therapist thinks I took all the blame responsibility for the sexual abuse in my family. Looking at it objectively now, I think I did, but it is still hard not to feel shame and guilt. I am willing to talk with my family about all that happened and lay it all on the table, but my suggestions for my family and individual therapy to deal with our issues of rage, passive aggressiveness, and poor communication have all been rejected until now when I went no contact. They know all this. Understand, Bluebird. You're not going to tell the narcissists anything they don't already know. All you're going to do is give them the opportunity to blame you and gaslight you over it. That's how they will never admit what they've done. Never. I went no contact with my mother. I moved in with my boyfriend for 9 months. We broke up because of his narcish ways, so I went back home for 2 weeks. Minimal contact with my mother and 3 older brothers who live in our family home. I want no verbal attacks, fighting, or drama, so I just kept to myself. It was so tense. Every word I spoke was like a pin dropping. They seemed like they were desperate for anything to hold on to in an effort to launch into the drama. Yes, they are not comfortable with where you are. You're fighting back like your brother did when you were a child. Called her a bitch. Put her on notice then. He already got that status. You can't get it. You're the key to all their secrets, to all their bullshit. You're the key, and they got to hold you down. They got to make sure you're sufficiently gaslighted and guilted enough into silence. I did not take the bait, locked my door, and lived as a hermit for those 2 weeks. I felt like the walls were closing in living there. I only left my room when to heat my TV dinners and to go to work. Now my mother wants to go to therapy so the therapist can hear what we both have to say about our relationship. Let the therapist decide who is right or wrong. So she wants another trial. She demanded. I have been asking her for years. She refused. I am no longer interested because I know what she is, a narc, so I declined. I suggested if she wants therapy to talk to someone about why her adult children don't speak to her. She's welcome to go find help. She looked at me with audacity and yelled, "It's only you who doesn't want to talk to me." My golden child brother has been hoovering me to come back home for a while and have a relationship with my mother. I declined. I warned him that now that her favorite punching bag is gone, she will need someone else to rage at. Yeah. And now the golden child is the only one left. So now he's trying to get you back in to give her favorite target back. He told me he often rages at her and him and her other sons who live at home. He just graduated pharmacy school. I told him to leave as soon as he gets his first job as a pharmacist. I know he will not. He is a son husband to the core. He does all her bidding. My second eldest brother, I realize now, is a son husband as well. He is also a pharmacist, plays video games whenever he's not at work. He has been living at home since he graduated 5 years ago. He is 38. I would wonder, and I'm going to ask this. Well, your mother's a nurse, they're pharmacists. I'm going to ask if there's any kind of pill addict, anything going on with pharmaceuticals with these people. During the 2 weeks I spent at my family home, my mother went on a 90-minute rage rant about how I was so angry at her and the family. I sat in silence and told her I was listening. She demanded I respond to her questions. Of course she demanded, because if you don't respond, you're not giving them what they need. They need you to fucking engage them for this to work. They need you to engage them for their fucking narc tactics to work. I told her I was there to listen only. I had nothing left to say. She said if I want to live in her house, I had to engage with the family and be a part of it. How ironic. All they have ever done is exclude me over the years. Now everyone is more than eager to know about me and my life. These bastards turned their backs on me when I needed them most. No way I was ever to go back to the dysfunctional dynamics. So I told her if they were not going to leave me be, I would move out. She was fishing for a fight. She threw all my trigger buttons randomly. Were you molested? In an effort to get me to react. I did not. Again, she keeps going back to it. Why? Because she already knows it happened. She needs you to say it. She needs you to say it and say, you caused all this that happened when I was 8. You caused, your fucking sons caused it, and you know it. And you know it. That's what they want you to say, so they can call you crazy and say, how dare you? And call you a liar and make you think you're nuts. That's what she's doing. After 90 minutes, I got up to go to work. So you're just leaving when we're talking? She asked. She said angrily. I told her, I have to go to work. And then I left. I could not catch a break, but I set myself up for this, depending on the wrong people, my family. Here's how it happens. Years of intermittent positive rewards and fake assurance. My mother and family will persuade me to depend on them. We will help you move. Then there is drama with moving, which is led by my mother, forcing me to keep an old bed and couch I was better off throwing away, wasting my time, money, saving junk. They act prissy because they are helping me. Plenty narc supply for guilt tripping because they were doing me favors I did not ask for. You don't need a car. Don't buy a car. We'll give you rides. I agree. You're just making yourself a slave to them. They don't show up when I ask for a ride, or when they do show up, they are 1 to 2 hours late. I wait in the cold and dark or end up walking home. Move back home, save money on rent. You can pay back your student loans easier. Things are chill for a short while. The second I start to feel like I'm getting ahead in life, the chaos starts. The drama, the nonstop arguments, silent treatment, the cold wars, banging on my bedroom door at night, calling incessantly to know where I am, drama because I stayed out late with friends, lack of privacy. I always lock my door, otherwise my mother barges in, little to no privacy. My brothers watch silently. I guess they think to themselves, it's better mother rages at her than me. Why are all these grown-ass men still living with their mother? Couldn't they just leave me alone while I worked, went to school, and tried to save money on grad school? I paid my bills and made sure not to burden anyone with my issues. I work in the hospital as an RN, and I'm in grad school, and I am dealing with all my internal issues. I just needed 1 year and a half to finish my master's, and then I could chill for a little. The pressure was on. I went searching for apartments while I had to work and study for exams. I found a place, unfortunately expensive, but living alone as a single woman, I have to pay more for a secure place in the city. I moved out in a week. My mother yelled at me, "Oh, so you're really moving out? Where are you moving to? I want to see your place. Take me there." I told her no. Every time I lived on my own, she came to inspect my place. She would shit all over it and me. She would say my choice in apartments was a reflection on how I valued myself. Don't value yourself, she would say with disgust. You don't value yourself, she would say with disgust. According to her, I did not value myself because I chose older, affordable places to live. I lived at home far too long and should have moved out in 2006 after I came back from my 7-year exile in Nigeria. I came back with my younger brother when I was 21. She stole years from my life, trapping me in Nigeria, and then forced me to give up the life insurance money I got from my father's death. I could have used it to pay for college, $34,000. She took all of her children's insurance checks for herself. $34,000 times 7. She is an RN making 6 figures. This is how these cultures... a Nigerian taking insurance, taking money from people? Shocking. 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 I can't fucking believe it. I'm stunned. A Nigerian committing insurance fraud? Stealing from her children? Shocking. Can't believe it. I think you're lying. Can you ask your mom if she knows that Nigerian prince who keeps emailing me, by the way? Apparently there's $15 million he wants to send me. I don't know. But she kept on telling me she has no money. She never has money. But she owns a nice home in one of the most expensive cities in the Pacific Northwest. Has money to build a 13-bedroom home in the most expensive city in Nigeria. Buy a second home in the USA. Pay for her relatives. Her yes men upkeep, and drive a brand new Lexus. But my mother never has money. There were times in Nigeria we were only able to eat once a day. She denies this happened, but she was in the U.S. while my younger brother and I lived with our relatives. She sent money to them to take care of us, but I think they pocketed a big portion of it. Of course they did! It's fucking Nigeria! If Nigeria was so great, why did your parents come here to begin with? Because they knew this was better, but yet they sent you back to live in squalor while stealing your insurance check, right? Right? You're just a pawn in a Nigerian. Unfortunately, you're just a pawn in a Nigerian scam, another Nigerian scam. That's all you are. Her own child. Not all my relatives were bad, just the ones who were on her payroll and did everything she asked. They were her spies and henchmen. My mother did not get along with any of my Nigerian relatives who challenged her choice to leave us there and did not go along with everything she wanted. She hated those ones, even her elder sister who helped raise her. My Aunt Flora once told my mother she poisoned everyone with money. My mother responded by calling my Aunt Flora a fucking bitch. That was the first time I ever heard my mother's curse. She always acted like she was a pure and kind woman. I guess her mask really slipped that time, even in front of other relatives. So back to 2006 when we came back, I enrolled in community college and believed her stories of being broke. I did not want to be a burden to her. I wanted to get a job, but she told me no. She said she would help me with tuition. That lasted for 1/4 of the community college. She wanted to control my choice in major. She was still angry that I dropped out of the law school she forced me to enroll in Nigeria. She would call me a dropout. Since I refused to let her control me, she raged and got my golden child brother to attack me verbally. I just got back from Nigeria. It had been 3 months. I stopped cooking and cleaning for the household like a servant and decided to focus on taking care of myself. My mother said I was disrespectful and lazy. She instigated a fight and got my golden child brother to side with her. They raged at me. My mother yelled, "I want her out of this house." They asked me to leave after denying me so much. I had to start over after being abroad for so many years and had nothing to my name. After getting me to sign over the $34,000 insurance check, they wanted to throw me out so I would be out on the street with nothing at 21 years old. That's the position they put you in. That's how they use money to control you. That's how they do it. That's how they do it. My parents did it to me. I mean, they didn't have to send me to Nigeria. This is what they do. They make you a servant to them through money. All the while stealing yours. My parents stole years of Social Security money from the Social Security checks that my father was collecting from off my brother while he was faking a disability for all those years. My brother didn't see a fucking dime of that money. A dime of that money. They said they used it for college. He went to community college, which was $600 a semester, and then he went to a state school, which was because we were in-state residents and he was on disability, on Social Security. The tuition was nothing. They fucking pocketed all that money into their second house after stealing a house from someone else. This is what they do. I refused to leave and told them I was not going anywhere. After using me, I was not going to let them throw me out. Trying to make it on my own through college, I attempted to apply for financial aid. I needed her information. Yeah, good luck with what she makes. I needed her information to complete the form. She claimed me as a dependent on her tax return. She refused to fill out financial aid forms, no cost to her, so I could apply for financial aid. Since she refused, I got a job at the local grocery. Then eventually I got a job at Costco. She made fun of me for working at the butcher block and having to clean floors. She was resentful that I was paying my way through community college. Getting my AA, I transferred to the university. To get my nursing degree, I had to take student loans to get through. After I graduated, I was in debt. I thought moving home would help me save money so I could repay my debt. Big mistake. You keep making the same. Nothing is going to change as long as you keep going back. Nothing. Nothing, 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 nothing. You can't save money living with the narcissist because the narcissist uses money to control you. Period. Period. She did everything to berate me, break me down, and suck as much money out of me as she could. I was hopeful and idealistic. I thought the root of my family problems was money because that is all my mother ever talked about. It was always about money. No, it was about control. Money is a means of control. Money is just a tool. It's the control that she needs. The control over your life and everybody's life. She could not stand seeing me spend my own money I worked for, because if you had your own money, you had control of your own life. That's why. It's about the control the money represents. I thought since I had financial independence, things would be better. They were not. No, it's worse after you. It's worse because she's lost control. She's lost control. You have financial and she has no control over you anymore. It seemed money just made things worse. The more independent I got, the more resentful she became. She was not able to control me. There it is. There, you got it. You got it. You got it. Sorry this story is not so linear, but my memories are like an ocean of abuse, the waves hitting me from all sides. I wonder how I made it through. They are so painful. As I recall, some hit me really hard. There are so many layers. I wonder if I will ever stop digging. Thank you for taking the time to read this chapter. Bluebird. It's not about the money with the narcissist. It's about the control the money represents, and your life, and I get your mother. I know what she is. She is exactly like my parents. Exactly like them. If there was somewhere to send me, all about getting that money for themselves, and so you don't have it, so they can control your life. Period. So, I hope that helps. Thank you for another contribution and story, Bluebird. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up Skype, a phone call, have a private video made, or a Facebook live chat, or you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been the Narcissistic Resistance.